about to go in and check out some signage that we did for Enterprise Law and North Park Group. Come on in. There's some frosting that we're doing on the door, North Park Group and Enterprise Law. Let's go inside. So what we're looking at here are two stainless steel signs. We had to make them look somewhat similar because they're two different businesses that share the same reception area. So the top sign being a polished stainless steel with a backlit acrylic in their colour, and the bottom being a stainless steel black sheet, again with cutouts so that they can be backlit. On this episode of the Business Hour, I want to talk about branding guidelines and branding documents. Recently we've had a few customers come to us, and typically this is reserved for your medium to large size enterprise where they've got branding documents. And the things that are contained typically in a branding document are obviously the logo, the variations of the logo. And what I mean by variations is how the logo should be displayed, if it's a light coloured background or a dark coloured background, or depending on the context and what's around it. The other things that can be contained, depending on how comprehensive the branding guideline is, are things like how the stationery should look, how the website should look, the typography, so what fonts should be used. And all of these things are designed to create an identity for that brand or that business, so that there is consistency throughout everything that you're doing. Whether it's writing a simple letter that's on your letterhead, or writing an email, your email signatures, everything's uniform. This is becoming increasingly important when you try to differentiate yourself from other businesses in the market. Now, there are companies out there that charge exorbitant amounts for this. It's not unheard of to pay $10,000 to $15,000 for a document like this. And what it comes down to is what you actually need. How important is this for your business? And what are you trying to get out of it? What different types of stationery and things do you need your logo applied to? For example, if you're a builder, you might need a big fence banner and you might need certain requirements for your logo. Whereas if you're an online business, it's probably not as critical to have print stationery and things like that designed. So it's important to actually scope the entire works before you start this. There are many agencies out there that provide this sort of service, some better than others, and some will release fonts, for example, that they recommend you to use. Others will make you buy it, and those fonts can cost you a few $1,000s. So one thing to keep in mind when you explore an exercise, or when you're entertaining in something like this, is to actually work out exactly how much it's going to cost you. Everything from the design to the actual branding guideline to the fonts that they're going to recommend, and find out whether they're included or not. Because the last thing you want to do is agree to everything, be happy with everything, and then find out that the fonts that you really like, they're actually going to cost you extra. And it's not an extra couple of hundred, it's an extra couple of thousand, because that can start to blow things up. You also want to make sure that the licenses for each of these are actually available to use commercially. Not a lot of people realize this, but fonts that you use sometimes are not licensed to be used commercially by businesses. So you're not actually allowed to use it. Can you get caught? Well, that's $1 million question, but if it was me, I wouldn't be taking that risk. Now we're about to stop and see one of our other clients in Morty Alec. He's an absolute character. So we just finished a quick meeting with our clients at Lada Thai Massage, and they want a couple of changes made to the front of their store, so a couple of quick decals that they want printed. Now we're off to see another client, Z Real Estate. These guys are by far the leaders in real estate, I'd say, across the country. I haven't seen a more active social media team. If you look at any one of their agents, they're constantly putting up content, and they're constantly talking about what they're doing. I think he holds some records as well for Zed, the main agent. He holds some records for the fastest sale on social media. Some crazy things. It's got a massive following, and they just do things really, really well. We've got spoken to Messi, his elder brother, who's the CEO of the company. He's actually going to join us on the podcast in the next couple of weeks. So looking forward to that, and he can share some insights about what they do and how they do things differently. Because in a time when people are struggling, especially real estates are really struggling to list and sell houses and get the prices they want, they seem to do it with ease, with absolute ease. And I say that because they're constantly posting their results up, which holds them accountable to an extent to their audience as well. But I know how hard these guys work behind the scenes, because I can see the times at which I'm receiving emails. You know, it's like very early in the morning and very, very late at night on weekends. These guys don't stop. They're a really well-oiled machine. So be an interesting guest to have on the show. But the reason why I brought Zed up is because these are guys that have a branding document. It's quite comprehensive, that outlines how everything should look and how their brand should be represented. And it's important as well that you stick to the branding document, because if you start making exceptions, you'll find that it doesn't hold any weight anymore. And the one thing that you want to do is you want that to be the gospel of your company, to ensure consistency. So if you're ever going to get things printed, or if you're ever doing anything marketing related, you send that branding document to someone in that company, and they know exactly what your brand stands for, what colors to use. There's no ambiguity about what shade of grey. It is this specific code. There's no ambiguity as to how close your logo can be to the edge. It has to be this percentage off the edge. So there's no room for misinterpretation, which is an extremely powerful thing. You also want to make sure that you're comfortable with the colors and the look and feel of your logo, because once it's set in concrete. Until you go through an entire rebranding process, this is what your logo should look and feel like, because that's what the designer has put a lot of thought into. And it's not just the design and the aesthetics of it, but it's how your logo and how your brand makes people feel when they see it. Is it a warm and cuddly brand, or is it a clear-cut corporate entity that they should associate that logo with? So that's one of the biggest things that you want to make sure that your branding guideline does for your company. A bit later on, we'll pop past and see some other friends at Pick It Up Fitness. Them too, they also have a branding guideline, and they rebranded within 12 months of their original brand being launched. So they opened a gym, and within 12 months they came to me with a branding document, and they said that it doesn't accurately represent our brand and our vision and the way that we're going. So we've redone it. That's a considerable amount to spend if you think about all the things that they would have done in setting up their gym, to do it again 12 months later, and to scrap everything that they already had in terms of business cards, stationery, signage around the gym. You know, even like small things that people might take for granted, like signs to reserve car parks that have got your logo on it. If you're going to rebrand, you rebrand everything. You got to scrap everything and start again. So that was a costly exercise for them. And 2 years later, they're opening their second gym. So we're going to their new location this afternoon, and they're going from strength to strength. They've pretty much outgrown the first one, and I have no doubt that they're going to do the same thing in their Cheltenham gym. We just went to drop some stuff off to Zed Real Estate, and Zed and the brothers were extremely excited to show us in the office. We just went for a walkthrough to see 888 Nepean Highway, which is their new office, and nothing like what I expected to see. It's an old Commonwealth Bank branch, but the stuff that these guys are about to do to this place, forget any real estate office that you've seen ever. This is completely different. It's completely it's going to revolutionize how real estate agents set up their offices. You know how there's always that one company that comes out and they change things? Like Apple comes out, they put polished wooden floors and white tables. All of a sudden, everybody does the same thing. Everyone in telco, everyone that's their competitor, Samsung, the whole lot of them, they all just start competing against whoever has just set the new trend. And I think that's what these guys are going to do. They're going to set this new trend. And I might be talking these guys up a lot, but if you spend enough time with them and you understand their ethos and what makes them tick and what keeps them motivated and driven and how they deliver, you'd understand why I'm excited to be part of this. So they've just briefed us in on some of the stuff that we're going to be doing at their new office, and I'm excited. So watch this space. It's going to happen over the next few months, and all I can say is stay tuned. Something big is coming. What a sad guy. So anyway, normally we charge for something like this because this wasn't our fault, obviously. Oh, I don't know, Sheldon maybe came in the middle of the night, just kicked it. But no, seriously. Normally we charge for something like this, but these guys are good guys. They've been our client for a long time. They recommend us to a lot of people. It's a new gym, so at least we can do it and help them out with changing this bad boy over. Starting to look a bit better. We just got back to the office. It's 6 o'clock. It's been a long day. I hope you got something out of today's episode on style guides and brand guidelines. If you'd like to see some examples, you can go to Google and just punch that in. Punch in style guide, brand guidelines, and you can get heaps of examples out of that. If you'd like to see an example of a brand that we've worked with in the past, if you look up Unibet, which is part of the Kindred gambling group, we've done a bit of work with their, in terms of printing their logo on different things that they've needed in the past, like flyers and material around the canvas and things like that. You can check it out at brand.unibet.com. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, please share it. If someone needs to see this, or you know that someone's about to start a business or rebrand their business, tag them in the comments below or share it with them. If there's anything you'd like help on, drop it in the comments below and we'll try to get back to you. Thanks.